So let us begin with the article which has appeared in today's The Hindu newspaper. Okay, so that is India's firmer attempts at mineral diplomacy. Okay, mineral diplomacy. So again, when we hear about a word called as diplomacy, so generally it comes under international relations, international relationship. So whenever we want to build any kind of relationship with other countries, so there the term diplomacy will appear. Okay. So here we are speaking about mineral diplomacy. It means we want to build relationship with other countries with respect to minerals. Okay, with respect to minerals. So it means this article, it speaks something about the minerals. Okay, minerals and the attempts that are being made by India. Okay, with respect to this mineral diplomacy. Mineral diplomacy. So let us begin with the first paragraph. Again, as usual, our discussion will be from two perspectives. One is from the prelims, another one will be from the mains. But when it comes to making of notes, our focus will be exclusively on prelims. Because when we start making the notes out of mains point of view, then probably we will end up reproducing the same article once again. So let us not involve in that exercise. We shall focus on the points predominantly from the prelims point of view. Okay. So first round exercise, I think you already completed. So I had asked you to find out the meaning of the words, the first time which you are encountering, or the meaning of the difficult words, the words whose meaning you don't know. Okay. So as India seeks to expand its manufacturing and technological capability, critical minerals will become vital to fulfill this ambition. Okay. So first line says that as India seeks to expand its manufacturing and technological capacity. So India presently is seeking to expand its manufacturing capacity. So what do we understand by expansion of manufacturing capacity? Can you quote me one example of expansion of manufacturing capacity? Okay. Expansion of manufacturing capacity means in India, let us assume in 1 year, if we are producing 100 pens. So in the next year, if we increase the production of 100 pens to 150 pens, so this indicates expansion of the manufacturing. Expansion of the manufacturing. So all these years we have been producing only pens, okay? But from the next year onwards, if we start producing, for example, some kind of batteries, this is also an example of expansion of manufacturing. Okay, expansion of manufacturing. So in this article, he says that to expand the manufacturing and technological capability. So in order to make any kind of expansion, either it may be with respect to manufacturing or technological aspects. So what is important here is critical minerals will become vital to fulfill this ambition. So the question that arises here is, what are critical minerals? Okay, a very important point to note in this first line is the point called as critical minerals. So have you tried to find out what are critical minerals? You know example of critical minerals, but have you tried to find out what is meaning of critical minerals? If you have not yet gone through it, please search it. Try to find the meaning of the term called as critical minerals. What is a critical mineral? Okay, critical minerals. Can you come across any other definition? Critical mineral?
Critical minerals are the metals that are essential for manufacturing of products and technologies.
Only technology? Sustainable future. This is very important. So here the term sustainable is very much important. Okay. So when we say critical minerals, we should be able to associate it with sustainable development. Okay, sustainable development. Critical minerals are anything which helps us for sustainable development. Now example, I'll take two examples. One I will take coal. Okay. Another I will take it as lithium. So which one among these two are called as critical minerals? Coal or lithium? No. Lithium is called as critical mineral. Coal is not a critical mineral because coal will not help us for sustainable development. So coal, in fact, it is producing what? Greenhouse gases. Okay, it is leading to global warming and all. So it will not help us for sustainable development. But lithium, it will help us for sustainable development. How? Now when we say sustainable development, okay, the important factor is we require energy, we require electricity. So there are various ways of producing electricity by using coal, okay, by using hydropower, by using nuclear power and all. And presently the trending is solar power, etc. But ultimately now we are going towards electric vehicles and all. So in order to make the exercise of electric vehicles successful, what we require? We require battery. And how are batteries made? In the manufacturing of batteries, we require lithium. So for sustainable development, we require batteries, and for construction of the batteries, we require lithium. So for sustainable development, any resource which is required is called as a critical mineral. So in this example, lithium is a critical mineral, but coal is not a critical mineral. Okay, critical mineral. Okay. So this is just with one example we were able to connect the dots, because when we are reading an article, it's very much important to understand the things line by line. Simply we should not go through the article, but we should be able to connect each and every dot. So first, this point, critical mineral is important. However, India, a major critical mineral importer. So when it comes to critical minerals, so later on we shall see which are the critical minerals. But here, India is a major critical mineral importer. Sorry, what does it mean? It means India does not have sufficient quantity of critical minerals of its own. It is dependent on imports. It imports the critical minerals from other countries. Still depends on other countries, primarily China, for its mineral security. This is very important. Now, from the exam point of view, question might be framed. So, which is the largest critical mineral supplier to India? Option number 1, China. Option number 2, USA. Option number 3, Russia. Option number 4, Australia. China. See here, the same point will become beneficial from PLIM's point of view. Okay. So here, China, primarily we are reliant on China for what? Major critical minerals. For our mineral security. So what do we understand by mineral security? We already discussed about different types of terms. For example, we have discussed about food security. So what is food security? At no point of time, there should be dearth of food for our people. Okay, food should always be available for our consumption. That is called as food security. So in order to establish food security, we have taken various measures. For example, it may be green revolution, or it may be public distribution system. So all these are aimed at food security. Okay, food security. Similarly, mineral security means at any point of time, there should be no shortage of minerals. For example, I want to manufacture a battery. But during the manufacture of battery, if there is a shortfall of lithium, if there is a shortfall of cobalt, then I will not be able to manufacture the battery properly. Okay, so mineral security means ensuring that the required mineral is available at any point of time. So for that purpose, what you will do? You will find the resources, you will try to find the resources of the critical minerals in India. And in India, if these minerals are not available, you will try to establish a relationship with other country and try to purchase the critical minerals from other countries. Ultimately, what we want? We want mineral security. Okay, mineral security. Again, an important word. So, mineral security, meaning we have to understand. And next, the largest critical mineral supplier to India is China. Again, important point from PLIM's point of view. Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, who voiced India's apprehensions at a defence think tank gathering, said, so recently there was a function held. So, defence related function was held. At that time, he will express India's apprehensions. Means the various apprehensions, the negative thoughts which Rajnath Singh has in his mind. So he expressed it. What is that? While the scramble for resources for economic reasons has had a long history, their weaponization by some nations for strategic reasons is a comparatively new phenomena, hinting at Chinese attempts. Okay. So this term, what the Rajnath Singh has made, you will not be able to understand just based on this context. You should go beyond the context. You should know some background information. So he is pointing at China. So what China is doing? China is weaponizing. Resource weaponization, China is doing. So what does it mean? I'll just give you an example. Now lithium is required. Let us assume we require lithium. But in India, we do not have sufficient lithium. Let us assume some other country, Argentina, has lithium resource. Okay, Argentina is a country which has lithium resource. So what China will do? It is much aware of the future. In the future, we may require lithium in a great quantity. So what it will do? It will go to Argentina. It will purchase all the lithium reserves. So now when India wants lithium and if it goes to Argentina, so please give us lithium. So Argentina will say already we have given all the reserves to China. Now when you go and ask China, what China will say? Yes, we'll give you lithium, but ordinarily the cost of 1 kg of lithium, let us assume if it is 100 rupees. China will say for 1 kg we'll charge you 10,000 rupees. Now what happens? You have no other option. You have no other option left. You have to purchase it from China. So this is like minerals weaponization. So who is doing it? China is doing. So this is creating apprehension among the Indians, especially it has been expressed explicitly by our Defense Minister Rajnath Singh. Okay, Rajnath Singh. So these are the background things that you have to understand. So without knowing the background, when you read this statement, you will not be able to comprehend the statement. Okay, so this is a background. To address India's mineral security challenge. So presently the India, what is the challenge it is facing? We want critical minerals, but we do not have sufficient critical minerals. Okay, so that is a challenge, which is aimed at reducing its strategic vulnerability. So why do we require mineral security? To reduce our vulnerability. What is vulnerable? What do we understand by generic, it's a common English word, vulnerable. So when we are vulnerable, we can be attacked by anyone very easily. Okay, we can be very easily attacked or very easily influenced. It is called as vulnerable. So if we do not have, yes, you are saying something? Yes, you are right. Okay, vulnerable. So now example of vulnerable in this condition. I took an example of what? Lithium, right? So lithium, when we go to Argentina, we do not get lithium, but we have to go for China. Now China will start demanding, okay, we'll pay you 1 kg of lithium, you have to pay 10,000 rupees. So now we are at a vulnerable situation. We cannot negotiate with China. Okay. So why this vulnerability? Because we do not have sufficient critical minerals. Hence, mineral security is very much important to reduce India's vulnerability. If India's vulnerability has to come down, then our mineral security has to increase. Okay, has to increase. Hence, efforts are being made to enhance our mineral security and indirectly to reduce our vulnerability. We want to reduce our strategic vulnerability by increasing our mineral security. Okay, mineral security. So New Delhi has started an attempt to engage in mineral diplomacy. So because of this situation, okay, so Indian government has started with the mineral diplomacy. So in the world where all minerals are there, so India is trying to negotiate so that it can get sufficient critical minerals for its development. Okay, a very important point to note. Okay, note. Next, establishing joint ventures. Okay, so what do we understand by joint ventures? When 2 or more companies, they together start a new business, we call it as a joint venture. When 2 or more governments start a common thing, we call it a joint venture. Okay, so establishing joint ventures, we shall see. This attempt is based on the pillars of developing international engagement with mineral producing countries. So how is India engaging in mineral diplomacy? It is developing international engagement with mineral producing countries. So let us assume there are some mineral producing countries. For example, it may be Australia or it may be Argentina. So India is trying to engage those countries in various ways. Okay, it is trying to build a good relationship with those countries. Okay, so this is one way. Another one is establishing strategic partnership with intergovernmental organizations. So there are many intergovernmental organizations which we already discussed. For example, United Nations is an intergovernmental organization. International Atomic Energy Agency is an intergovernmental organization. So there are many such intergovernmental organizations. So India is trying to build a strategic partnership with such intergovernmental organizations. Okay, to what? Engage in mineral diplomacy. Engage in mineral diplomacy. Ultimate aim is we should get sufficient minerals, critical minerals required for our development. Okay, for our development. The first pillar focuses on building bilateral ties with resource-rich countries. See here, he is saying first pillar. Means this attempt is based on the pillars of, so here the first pillar was this one. The second pillar was this one. See, when they write the article, they will not give a clear instruction. But based on the context, you should be able to understand. So when he is saying first pillar, he is focusing on the first point. Developing international engagement with mineral producing countries. So here, the first pillar focuses on building bilateral ties with resource-rich countries such as Australia, Argentina, United States, Russia, Kazakhstan to secure supply of lithium and cobalt. A very important point to note. So this point is there, right? A very, very important point. So what he has mentioned, resource rich countries, which are they? Australia is there, Argentina is there, United States is there, Russia is there, and Kazakhstan is there. Okay, to secure supply of lithium and cobalt. It means they have good resources of lithium and cobalt. So India is trying to build a good relationship with Australia, good relationship with Argentina, good relationship with United States, Russia, as well as Kazakhstan, so that India can get sufficient quantities of lithium and cobalt. Okay, cobalt. Now we'll go beyond the context. What is it beyond the context? Okay, which is the largest lithium producing country? At least you can go for top three. Top three lithium producing countries. Top three cobalt producing countries. Can you search in the internet and make notes out of it? Top three. Okay, if you have already done it, it's okay. If you have not done it, please do it once again. Lithium, top three in the decreasing order of production, or even reserves as well. Australia, Chile and China. Cobalt, okay. So what you can do is you can take it as a homework. What is that homework? When it comes to lithium and cobalt, you have to do two exercises. One is, which are the top three lithium reserves holding country? Top three lithium reserves holding country. See, reserves holding country and producer may not be the same. Sometimes coincidentally they may be same. Top three lithium reserve holding countries. Top three lithium producing countries. Top three lithium reserve holding countries, top three lithium producing countries. Similarly, when it comes to cobalt, top three cobalt reserve holding country, top three cobalt producing country. So this will be a homework. Okay, you should complete it. So this is how you are supposed to read the newspaper. Only just based on the newspaper, whatever the content is there, you should not confine yourself to that content. You have to move beyond the content. So this is what we say curiosity. When we are reading the newspaper, what UPSC expects is curiosity. Whether an aspirant has the curiosity or not. Okay, so that we are supposed to do. Okay, so once you complete the exercise, later on you can share the same in the group. To facilitate this vision, post 2019, India established Khanij Bidesh India Limited, a joint venture company with a mandate to ensure a consistent supply of critical and strategic minerals to the Indian domestic market. Okay, very important. Now, here we came across a Khanij Bidesh India Limited, a joint venture company. So what is the goal of this company? To ensure consistent supply of critical and strategic minerals to Indian domestic market. So in the Indian domestic market, for example, let us assume Tata is producing some kind of battery. It's a domestic market. Now Tata requires lithium and cobalt. So supplying lithium and cobalt to Tata is the responsibility of Khanij Bidesh India Limited. Okay, limited. Now the question is, Khanij Bidesh India Limited, you should not just confine to this information. You have to look for more information. It comes under which ministry? Just search it. Khanij Bidesh India Limited, it comes under which ministry? Okay, and also search for the joint venture. It is a joint venture between whom all? Khanij Bidesh India Limited. Okay, a joint venture program. So the first information that I want is Khanij Bidesh India Limited, it comes under which ministry? Yes, very important. So gradually you should not be able to search it. Naturally it should come to you. Whenever there is something related to mines, it is related to Ministry of Mines. So you will write it. Okay, Ministry of Mines. So this is very important from exam point of view. Often UPSC it focuses on such kind of aspects. Next, it's a joint venture company. So who all has together formed this company? It's a joint venture of whom? That is important. Joint venture means two or more companies have together started this. So Khanij Bidesh India Limited is a joint venture of which two companies? Here what we got it? NTPC Limited
and Coal India
and Coal India Limited. So all of you got this? Okay, so this is very important. This is what they are expecting. They are expecting you to go beyond the context. So tomorrow in the examination they may ask you, so Khanij Videsh India Limited, it's a joint venture of BSNL and LIC. False. It's a joint venture of NTPC, National Thermal Power Corporation Limited, and Coal India Limited. Okay. So all this information, it is important from exam point of view. So this is how we are supposed to read the newspaper. This is how we are supposed to explore for more information, and we also need to know where we have to stop. Now we will not go extra mile. What is NTPC? What is Coal India Limited? No. For this we have a separate exercise. We are not going to do it. Now we have to stop here itself. Okay. So ultimately the aim of Khanij Videsh India Limited is to supply sufficient critical minerals to the Indian companies, and it's a joint venture of NTPC and Coal India Limited. Okay, Limited. The objective was to achieve mineral security by securing agreements and acquisitions through government to government, government to business, and business to business routes. So what is the goal of Khanij Videsh India Limited? To achieve mineral security. We want sufficient minerals. So how do we want to achieve? We want to secure agreements. We want to make discussion with the other countries. For example, it may be Australia, it may be Chile, it may be Argentina. We want to make a discussion with them, and we want to make agreements. What is that agreement? For example, we'll sign an agreement with Chile saying that you have to supply the lithium for at least 10 years. So these kind of agreements we are going to make. Next, securing agreements and acquisitions. What is acquisition? Acquisition means you will purchase some other company, or you will purchase the resource bearing area in some other country. For example, in Argentina, so there will be a lithium rich reserve place. So you will purchase that place itself. That is called as acquisition. Okay, acquisition. So all these things with the intention of what? To achieve mineral security. Ultimate goal is to achieve mineral security. Okay, security. Through government to government. So this Khanij Videsh India Limited, it can work from government to government, or government to business, or business to business routes. What does it mean? It means Indian government can sign an agreement. Government to government means Indian government can sign an agreement with Argentina government. Okay, one. Another one is government to business. For example, Indian government will sign an agreement with a company which is present in Argentina. Let us assume there is a company present in Argentina called as Argentina Coal Company. Okay, Argentina Coal Company. So Indian government will sign an agreement with that company. Next, business to business. What does it mean? For example, in India, so let us assume there is a company of Ambani, and in Argentina there is a company of another person called as Jimbani. Okay, he is in Argentina. So both of them own a company. Now the Ambani's company will make a deal with Jimbani's company in Argentina. So this is called as business to business. So means all the ways are facilitated. Business to business, government to business, as well as government to government. Okay, government to government. So in March 2022, so in this direction we shall see what are the developments made by Kabil. Okay, Kabil. In March 2022, Kabil signed a memorandum of understanding with Australia for a critical mineral investment partnership, identifying 2 lithium and 3 cobalt projects. Very important. So here what happened in 2022, Kabil, it signed agreement with whom? Australia. For which all projects? For lithium as well as cobalt. So from this what we understand here is Australia has the reserves of both lithium as well as cobalt. Okay, as well as cobalt. So such kind of statements will not be important from PLIMS point of view. In PLIMS they are not going to ask, so with which of the following countries has the Kabil signed a memorandum of understanding? Rarely they are asked. But while writing the mains answers, you can quote them. So recently India signed a memorandum of understanding with Australia. You can quote it. But what is important from PLIMS point of view is whether Australia has the resources of lithium? Yes. Whether Australia has the resources of cobalt? Yes. Very important. Latin America's lithium triangle, which constitutes Argentina, Chile and Bolivia. Very important point. Now in the examination they may ask you the term lithium triangle, which appears in the newspaper, it appears in the context of Africa, North America, Latin America, Asia. Latin America, very important. A very important point from Klim's point of view. Next, they may ask a question like this. So, the lithium triangle in Latin America stretches from Brazil, okay, Brazil and some other country. True or false? False. When we say lithium triangle, three countries are Argentina, Chile and Bolivia. Again, these points are also very important. Okay. Sorry. So, Latin America's lithium triangle, which constitutes Argentina, Chile and Bolivia, has also attracted India's attention. So, whether India has tried to establish a good relationship with the lithium triangle countries? Yes. Okay, yes. In January 2024, India signed a $24 million lithium exploration project. Exploration pact with a state-owned enterprise in Argentina for 5 lithium brine blocks. Okay, this detailed information is not important. This how many million dollar, $24 million, when, not important. What is important here is Argentina is known for which resource? Lithium or cobalt? It is known for lithium, very important. Argentina is known for lithium and not for cobalt. That is very important. Okay. Again, out of curiosity, again you will do the same exercise. Which is the largest lithium reserve holding country? Which is a country which produces lithium the highest? Again, continuously you will be doing this exercise. But from this point, only this is that is important. Okay. So from exam point of view, so you please look into your newspaper itself, because as we do not have here. Next, Kabil is also actively working to secure mineral supplies by facilitating the buying of assets from Bolivia and Chile. Similarly, it is also trying to buy the lithium from Bolivia as well as Chile. Okay, Chile. Apart from the government, India's private sector has also benefited. Not only the government, even private sector has benefited because of the deals. Altmin Private Limited signed an agreement with YLB, Bolivia's national company, to secure the raw materials supply chain of lithium-ion batteries. Okay. From this, what we understand here is Altmin Private Limited company, whether it's an Indian company or a foreign company. It's an Indian company. See here, Altmin Private Limited company signed an agreement with YLB, Bolivia's national company. So, which is Bolivia's national company? YLB or Altmin? Okay, YLB, it's a company of Bolivia. YLB, it's a company of Bolivia. Altmin is a company of India. So, both these companies have signed an agreement. So, because of that YLB is supplying what? Raw material for the lithium-ion batteries. So, for the lithium-ion batteries, lithium is required, right? So, they are sending it to India. Okay, sending it to India. Again, from Klim's point of view, if we think, okay, this they are not going to ask you about Altmin Private Limited company, whether it is from India or Bolivia. That is not important. What is important here is whether we have established any kind of partnership with the Bolivia to supply the resource of lithium to India. Yes, we have established. Okay, we have established. Next, in the examination, they may even frame a question like this. Which of the following countries are known for lithium resource? They may give multiple options. They may say, what? Argentina, Chile, Bolivia. So, how many of the above are known for lithium resource? Only one, only two, all three, none. All three. So, we will be able to mark it confidently only when we have the information pertaining to these aspects, and these are stored in our memory very concretely. Okay, that is very important. Okay, very important. Next, so Central Asia has also caught India's attention. See, which all countries we have discussed? We discussed about Australia. We discussed about Latin America. Now we have come to Central Asia. So when we say Central Asia, what should flash in your mind? Well, which are the countries of Central Asia? Okay, so Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan. So this is the area of Central Asia. Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan. So these are countries of Central Asia. So here, Central Asia. So Central Asia is also rich with what? Critical minerals. Central Asia has also caught India's attention. Means India is also trying to build relationship with the Central Asian countries which are good at critical minerals. Okay, critical minerals. Recently, India and Kazakhstan formed a joint venture, IREUK Titanium Limited, to produce titanium slag in India. See it, very important. Now here we came across one more critical mineral. So until now in our discussion we came across only two critical minerals. Which are they? Lithium, another one is cobalt. We came across third critical mineral, that is titanium. So this is also important. Tomorrow in the examination they may ask you a question like, which among the following are considered as critical minerals? So in the options they may give coal, steel, lithium, cobalt, titanium. How many of the above are correct? Only 2, only 3. Okay, all only 4, all 5. Only 3. So this identification can happen only when you have stored the information in such a concrete manner. That is very important. Okay. Next, so titanium, it's the third source. Now in the examination they may ask you. So recently India has signed a joint venture with which of the countries to secure the supply of titanium, which is that Kazakhstan. So this is how you are supposed to prepare. This is one of the India's first joint ventures with the Central Asian republics. So very important, because Central Asian republics, whatever the 5 countries are there, very rarely we have signed such kind of joint proposals. So this was the first one among the first joint ventures. So again important. But from Pleen's point of view, if you look here, only 3 points are important. That is Kazakhstan, titanium. This attempt is aligned with New Delhi's proposal to establish an India Central Asia Rare Earths Forum to leverage the region's rich resources. Okay, so here the point is not that much important, but here we need to understand what are rare earths. Okay, rare earths. So please take it as a homework. So find out what are the rare earth elements. Again, an important point from exam point of view. So which is the country which is the largest producer of rare earth elements? That is also important. Okay, important. Next, cooperative engagements. The second pillar of the mineral diplomacy. See, here we completed the first pillar. Now we are coming to second pillar. Which is the first pillar? This attempt is based on the pillars of the second paragraph we saw, right? At the beginning of the article, the second paragraph we saw. The attempt is based on the pillars of developing international engagement with mineral producing countries. So first pillar is over. So second one is establishing strategic partnership with intergovernmental organizations. So now we started discussing about the second pillar. Means establishing our relationship with intergovernmental organizations. The second pillar of the mineral diplomacy is international engagement, which is forging and strengthening partnerships with unilateral and multilateral initiatives related to mineral security, such as Quad, the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity, Mineral Security Partnership, and the G7. Okay. Now, we have to go beyond it. So I'll give it as a homework. What is that homework? What is Quad? So only what superficial information they have given. That is Australia, Japan, India, and United States. Okay. Now in the examination they may ask you, they may give you multiple countries and they may ask you which of the following are the members of Quad. So this information will help us to address such kind of questions. Now in the examination, in the mains, we may be able to quote, means India, in order to enhance its mineral security, it is using Quad platform to enhance its mineral security. It is also using Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity. So here there is no sufficient information, but we have to add some extra information by exploring the same. Okay, so please take it as a homework and also add some extra information pertaining to it. Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity. So what is it? When it was formed? What is its intention? Okay, so in this fashion we have to focus around 3 to 4 important points and just jot them down as part of your notes. Similarly, mineral security partnership. An important aspect is we have to find out whether India is part of all these initiatives, whether India is part of Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity, we have to check it. Whether India is part of mineral security partnership, we have to check it. So whether India is part of G7, no. Okay, India is not a part of G7, but still India is trying to use the platform of G7 to enhance its mineral security. Okay, mineral security. So here we have to go beyond the context. Okay, beyond the context. These cooperative engagements aim to align India with global best practices in the critical mineral sector across its 3 segments. So in this fashion, India is trying to align itself with the global best practices as far as critical minerals are considered. Okay, again not important from Klim's point of view, but here we need to understand upstream, midstream and downstream. What do we understand? Okay, upstream, midstream and downstream. So with the help of an example we shall understand. Now generally in the course of rivers we have understood. So the river where it originates, the river where it ends. If you look at Ganga, so upstream state is Uttarakhand. Okay, next downstream state is West Bengal. So midstream means, for example, you can take Uttar Pradesh. Similarly, in case of critical minerals, the upstream country is the country which has reserves. For example, Argentina. Okay, downstream country is the country, for example, India, which uses the lithium. And midstream country is the country which extracts the lithium out of its ore. Okay, out of its ore. So in this fashion, upstream, midstream and downstream. Downstream and midstream. Additionally, they also facilitate knowledge sharing and capacity building, which is important for coordinating with international partners such as the US, the European Union, and the South Korea and Australia. Okay. They also facilitate knowledge sharing and capacity building, which is important for coordinating. Not an important information, just leave it. To further this collaboration with Western partners, India's Ministry of Mines has signed an MOU with International Energy Agency. This is very important. What is important? International Energy Agency. So we have never come across this organization. We have already discussed few of the organizations while discussing about the international affairs, but we have never discussed about International Energy Agency. So we have to add some extra information. What is International Energy Agency? Where is its headquarters located? What does it do? Whether India is part of the International Energy Agency or not. So these are the various factors that we have to focus on. Okay, so again take it as a homework. So before coming to tomorrow's class, you add this extra information as well. To strengthen cooperation on critical minerals, helping India to streamline its policies. So again, investment strategies in the critical mineral sector, aligning them with the global standards and best practices is not important. The missing pieces. India's attempt at mineral diplomacy has led to many positive outcomes, but still lacks 3 essential ingredients required for its international diplomatic engagement. So even though India is making its best attempt to secure the critical minerals, but still there are some drawbacks is what you want to say, not important from PLIM's point of view. In the mains, it can be used. These are lack of private sector participation. So the important drawback is in critical minerals, the private sector is not participating to its fullest extent. Only government companies, government sector is participating. So that is a drawback which can be mentioned in mains. Weak diplomatic capacity. So our diplomats, they are negotiating only with few countries, not with all the countries. Okay, weak diplomatic capacity. And insufficient sustainable partnership. Partnerships have been established only for a temporary period. They are not permanent. They are not sustainable. Again, these points are not that much important from PLIM's point of view. Also, India's private sector has largely been missing from the equation. Okay, so India's private sector is very least interested in this sector. The absence of critical mineral supply chain strategy and a clear roadmap for the private sector are 2 primary variables responsible for the lack of policy clarity leading to their absenteeism. Okay, so there are no sufficient policies which can address the requirements of the private sector. Hence, they are not participating up to the fullest extent is what the writer wants to convey. Again, not important from PLIMS. To address these, India needs to formulate a comprehensive approach for de-risking, considering the role of private sector across the supply chain. An important step would be to have a supply chain strategy based on India's growth prospectus and national security priorities. Again, the points can be quoted in mains, but not important from PLIM's point of view. Second, India must strengthen its mineral diplomacy engagement. Again, the same point is repeating. It has to strengthen its mineral engagement, having a dedicated mineral diplomacy division within the Ministry of External Affairs. Okay. So they are saying that in the Ministry of External Affairs, we should have a separate division called as Mineral Diplomacy Division. So this point is important. Tomorrow in the examination, they may ask you. So under the Ministry of External Affairs, we have a dedicated Mineral Diplomacy Division. True or false? False. He is proposing that we need to have such kind of division, but presently we do not have such kind of division. Okay. Similar to the new and emerging strategic technologies division and a special position for mineral diplomacy in selected diplomatic missions to be the first step. Not important, leave it. Third, India's global goal towards mineral security necessitates that New Delhi forges strategic, sustainable and strategic partnerships with bilateral partners and multilateral forums. Okay, so it has to establish a relationship with many bilateral partners as well as other forums. Again, not important. Among all its partners, working with European Union, South Korea and other Quad members is critical to India's mineral security due to domestic capabilities. Again not important. Diplomatic network and technological know-how. If these issues can be resolved, India's attempts at mineral diplomacy will gain strengthen and will also be able to better complement New Delhi's domestic critical mineral initiatives, which are currently moving at a slow pace. Okay. Again, these points, they are important from PLIM's point of view. Okay. Again, it requires understanding some of the background information as well. But every day you cannot become perfect in all the articles, but at least the few content which you have extracted from this article, so they are going to benefit you from the PLIMS. Now our focus will be on PLIMS, not from the mains point of view. So if you focus from the PLIMS point of view, can you make a list of all the important points that we have discussed? Yes. I'll just go on making the list. First is critical mineral. Next, mineral security. Next, Mineral security, okay. Next. Lithium. What you have to search? Reserve and producer. Next. Cobalt. Reserve and producers. Next. Yes. Yes. Kabil. Next. Joint venture with ಅಥವಾ lithium triangle. Next. Yes. India, Kazakhstan, titanium. Good. Next. Rare earth materials. Rare earth materials. Next. What else? Yes. Now the information important from this article is over. Now we'll list the separate one whom we need to understand. One is Quad. Second one is IPEF 2. Next. MSP 3. G7 4. International Energy Agency. International Energy Agency. Next. Over. NEST. Okay, we'll focus on NEST. Okay. So these are the various points which we'll focus. So rest all the skips, all the points we'll skip it. So in this fashion, we'll reduce the information. So at the time of examination, especially prelims, we'll not focus on the entire article. So using these keywords, whatever the notes that we have made, we'll repeatedly revise them. And when this happens, any kind of questions on critical minerals which appear in the examination, we'll be able to answer it very confidently. Okay, confidently. So this was about the article called as India's firmer attempts at mineral diplomacy. Okay, diplomacy.